Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we got a brand new product from our friends over at HanShow, and this is the H86 rear display. Now, we've reviewed a few different rear displays on the channel before. This is the first of its kind in that it's 8.6 inches in screen size as opposed to 7 or 7.2 or even 7.5. So this is the largest in the class of these displays. As always, HanShow's packaging is top notch, or top shelf I should say. And at first you have your warranty card with a QR code. I suggest hitting that with your phone and checking out the warranty parameters. The display itself came packaged really nicely in two deep foam pockets with some foam protective wrap over the display itself. And you can see there the screen real estate is tremendous on this display. Very little bezel, if at all. And what's great on this display, you finally have articulating vents. Now they don't go up and down, but they do move side to side. And then as always with most of these displays, your left port is going to be for data and your right port will be for charging. Flip it over to the back and you can see this is one of those easy quick installs, about 10 minutes. You have stereo speakers on this display, which is a first. And then upon quick inspection, we have the single black connector that will connect to the OBD2 cable. And then on this display, there is a second connection that's required, these white pins on the left side, and that is also part of that single harness. Build quality overall feels great, nice weight to it, very solid construction. And if we take a look at the accessory bag, there are two separate wiring harnesses included with this display. A pry tool, which you might not even need. But the new pry tools that HanShow is including are reinforced, which I really like, as opposed to the cheapo flexible ones. So this harness here is marked for the Model 3, Model Y. If you notice, it has the 26-pin OBD2 connection. Now this second harness is for the newer Model Ys or new Model 3s where you don't have the OBD2 connection in the back. So that has the extra long lead to connect up at the front passenger side door. So both of those harnesses are included. So make sure you're using the correct one depending on your model year. And again, like I said, that one is not going to be used today. We're going to be using this one in my hand. Got the 226-pin OBD bridge. And then you do have some other wires here for these seats that will control the passenger seat movement and massage modules on both. So you have three separate sets of wires, and then you have this power cap or a loop. This plugs into the USB connection, and then you have this USB-C converter to allow for use of older media systems. If you have a flash drive that's USB-A, HanShow includes this USB-C adapter for your use. So we're going to go ahead and get all of our accessories together, and this is what we're going to be taking out to the car. Before we go out to the car, please make sure to take a look at our friends over at HanShow, hautopart.com. Right now they are running a tremendous sale with our code. If you add this H86 to your cart and go to checkout, the original price is $359, but if you add our code top shelf at checkout, you're going to save an additional 20% off your entire purchase, and that will bring the cost down on this display under $300 at $287.20. So you'll save about $72 with our code. So act fast. The promotions right now are really nice because of Father's Day, and so make sure you take advantage of that. Now we're going to get into the installation. Very simple installation. Nothing to it. Should take you about 10 to 15 minutes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the rear vent cover, and this just simply pops off. If you need the pry tool, you can use it, but if you just pull it up and away, it should pop right off, just like so. And you'll have that single USB power connector cable right there. can go ahead and slide that out just like so. Now what I've done here is I've run the OBD2 cables up through the little space there in between the fascia and the vent, and you can see you'll have the USB plug. We're going to go ahead and place that cap on there. And just line up that L shape with the cap. You can see that L outline. And when you're putting on that cap, just make sure it snaps into place so it doesn't get lost in your vents. And we've already bridged the OBD2 connection. I did have to take off the back cover there with those 2 Torx 20 screws. You might not have to do this, but because of the amount of accessories we have installed, I did need a little more room, so it was just easier for me to remove that. So this is an optional step. It's just these 2 screws, and that whole fascia will pull away, and you'll have access to the entire back of that rear console for wire running purposes or whatever you need to do. All right, so we've got our wires run up into the opening there. We have our black connector, the USB is done, and then we have this new white connector that's going to connect on the left side of the display. So there's the single black connector. And then on the left-hand side, you have this white connector. So those are the only 2 plugs you're going to be connecting. Now I suggest leaving yourself a little bit of slack to be able to maneuver the wire as needed, the harness rather. It was a little tough, and I opted not to install the seating wiring, so all of that is tidied up in that vent gap there. So I've got the white connector already installed, and now we're going to marry up the 2 black connectors. Again, make sure everything clicks, and we've already got the display powering up. Now make sure as you're connecting the display to the rear of the console, be sure to remove any wires that will obstruct a good seal around that air duct. You want to make sure that display seals correctly, otherwise you'll be losing air. So there's your startup animation. So the display is already working, and we've got the wires tidied up behind. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to give it a good press and lock those 4 clips in place that hold the display, just like the vent cover did earlier. So this is just going to pop right on. You should feel a nice snug locking position, and it's in. Okay, so we've gone ahead and turned on the fan, the rear fans, and now you see you have this blowing air animation similar to what you have up front. And now our fan speed is at 1, and if you look over to the right, our temperature is 18.5 Celsius. Now I'm in the US, so I'm going to be changing that in a second, and I'll show you how to do that. But on first glance here, let's just take a quick tour, and you can see if I turn up this to 5, you can hear the fans kick on, and then you can drop down your temperature to low, and that will be the coldest, and then all the way up to the top here. And as you can see, it will get warmer. Now bear in mind that as you change the temperature in the back, it will not reflect in the front. So it's going to stay 65 in the front. That is something to do with the way the CAN bus data operates. This display is not capable of sending the command to the front display. So even if the kids are changing the temperature here, your front temperature will remain that number. So if you feel it getting warmer, you know they're playing around with the controls in the back. So let's go ahead and change this setting, if you'd like, from 25 degrees Celsius over to Fahrenheit. I'm going to actually lower this because it's starting to get warm. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here to the settings tab. And now we're in this car setting menu. Now it says vehicle left and right rudder settings. The rudder is your steering wheel. So we are in the US, so we're going to be keeping it at left. And now you have here temperature unit is going to be in Celsius. And we're going to switch that over to Fahrenheit if you'd like. Hit confirm. Now your 24-hour time format, if you prefer to have military time or 24-hour time, you can select that here. And then this time zone setting, I'm not quite sure what these districts refer to. I'm assuming it's something maybe with the mainland China. I'm going to leave this alone since I've connected my display to my home Wi-Fi. The time has automatically set itself there, so I recommend doing that for time setup purposes. And now that we can go back and take a look, and you'll see here now that the temperature is now displaying in Fahrenheit. A couple of the options on the bottom row of icons here. The anion icon is if you have a Model Y and you have the bioweapon defense mode option, the HEPA filter, you can enable that from the back display. I have a Model 3 and no Model 3s have that option, so it won't work. It'll turn on, but it won't do anything. The keep button here is the same function as the front. So if you get out of the car, you hit this keep button. This will allow your passengers in the back now to keep the climate on if the driver has gotten out to do something. Dog mode, same thing. It will keep the temperature on, and it will display the message on the main screen that my owner will return shortly. Camp mode, really nice feature if you're camping in your Model 3 or Model Y and you want to have that climate using low power for the night to keep the cabin comfortable. You can enable that there. And then child lock here. I'm not going to press it now because I had an issue with it before. But if you do enable the child lock and it comes on here, what you want to do is go back here. Now it's going to ask you for a password. And the default password for this display is 8687. And that will turn it off. I did have to contact HanShow for that. It did get stuck, so I'll keep it in the notes down in the comments below in case anybody needs it. So now we've got the climate pretty much covered. Next button here, and I love these hard-coded buttons that are baked into the display. Really, really nice add. I'm going to click this here, and this is your heated seat options. So in your Model 3 or Model Y, you have 5 heated seats. This will allow you to enable them, and you get 3 strips of bacon, 2, 1, or none. And if we turn them all on, just like so, we can go over here to this close all button, tap that, and that will shut those all off. So really nice feature there, having the rear passengers, giving them the ability to control the heated seats. This tab here, which is the comfort button, this allows you to activate the massage chair, and on the passenger side, the movement of the seat forward and backward. I opted not to install those options because I have young children that are constantly in the back of my car, my 5-year-old and 9-year-old, and I don't want them playing with the seats. So I opted not to install that cabling. It's just tucked behind here, and I mentioned that in the installation. If you'd like, I could do a separate video on those in the future, but for now I don't plan on it. Now your music button, this is your cabin volume control. So you can raise the volume and lower the volume. And if you had music playing, you could skip to the next song. If you had something on Spotify, or I had karaoke on before, you could go ahead and skip to the next song. The next feature here is your apps. Now this display does come equipped with the capability of CarPlay as well as Android Auto. I don't necessarily see a function for those, as I do use CarPlay up in the front there on our front display. So I'm not going to be using those, but what I would be using is onboard video for the kids. I have a couple of movies that I copied onto here. I'll show you how that works. And I also added RetroArch for some retro gaming. If you remember in our last rear display video that we did, we included the Nintendo Entertainment System. I don't want to get banned for this video or flagged for copyright, so I'll just show you quickly how that works. But you see what I've done is I've gone into the Play Store here. You log into your Google account, and then that will give you the option to download other streaming service apps like Max, Prime Video, Paramount Plus. It does come with Netflix preloaded. It did not work for me out of the gate. Once I updated it through the Play Store, it does now work. I can confirm that. And then Disney Plus unfortunately does not work at this time. At least the app is not appearing in my Play Store for some reason. So if you go into Netflix, you can see it'll load up. Now I'm connected to my home Wi-Fi, so you do need internet connection for this to function. But what Netflix has done recently is if you have the premium service, you can actually download their content offline. So you can get a couple of movies. This has a nice 64 gig internal drive that you can store at least 5 or 6 movies comfortably. So you see here, we just have to log in and it will work. Same for Max or any of these other streaming services. And then I want to show you RetroArch, which is also free on the Google Play Store. And I've got Mike Tyson's Punch-Out queued up here on the screen. And hopefully this sound doesn't get me flagged, but you can see the onboard speakers work really well. And we'll leave it at that there. So that's... Now anytime you want to get out of a menu, you just swipe down from the top, hit the home button, and it will take you back. So that's the apps. You do have a file manager app on here as well, which allows you to copy your files from any portable hard drive with the included adapter that HanShow provides. Really nice feature. And you can just go in here, very self-explanatory. You see I added a ROMs folder for my games. And then I also have a movies folder here, and I have some movies here for the kids that I've copied onto here from our other drive from our other car, and works really well. So if I go back now to the next tab, this is the onboard video shortcuts. So you have a shortcut to Netflix, you have a shortcut to YouTube, your local video, which are those files I just showed you, and it also has a link to TikTok if you use that service. Now I'll show you if I go to local video and I go to you can see here if I click this, here's the 3 movies that I had copied onto the hard drive for the kids, and if I play any one of these, they'll instantly just boot up. And you can see there, again, I don't want to get flagged, so that's the video button there. And then the last one is just the settings that we went to earlier. Pretty self-explanatory. So we go back here, and honestly this screen has an absolute ton of potential. I've reviewed at least 3 or 4 of these in the past year and a half, and I always find myself wanting more or less features. This screen, not only is it massive in size, the extra almost full inch of displays is incredible. The sound quality from the speakers is really good. The kids have no issue hearing music or videos or the games while they're playing. You can connect your Bluetooth controller. I was charging mine at the time that I recorded this, so I wasn't able to show you how that works, but if I do another video, I will include pairing options for that. The other thing that I like with this is the baked-in buttons on the display, the capacitive touch buttons here. These are nice because even if the screen is off, if I choose to power it down by swiping down, you can see they still light up, and they're very easy to access, and all I have to do is hit those and it will turn them back on. Yeah, there we go. Just tap the screen. So functionality wise, it's great. It adds the convenience of having rear climate controls in your Model 3. Very similar to the new Highland that's been, out and about for the last few months. And if you have children or you have an Uber account where you're a driver or a Lyft account, this is an absolute game changer for rear passengers, just to give them the comfort and convenience of being able to not only turn on the fan but adjust the temperature to their liking, and then also to provide entertainment options is a huge plus. I really think these displays are a home run for any Model 3 and Model Y owner, especially with young children, long road trips, things like that. This is a game changer. Thanks so much for watching. We're going to put a code up on the screen now. Go to hansshow.biz or hautopart.com. Use code TOPSHELF at checkout. Save yourself 18% right now for Father's Day. And to all the dads out there wishing you a really happy Father's Day, you earned it. Spend the day with the kids and family, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, peace out.